All right, thank you for tuning in. My name is Jason Goldman Hall of the Golden Gate Garrison, Northern California, PR officer and Republic Commando 30413. I'm excited today to be speaking with Stephen Costantino, musician and actor in one of our favorite movies, of course, Return of the Jedi. He's played with a bunch of great people on stage, and we're going to talk today about Star Wars, and we're going to talk today about Gamorrean guards and getting to be a part of that amazing saga. So, hey, Stephen, welcome. How you doing, man?
I am doing great. I mean, it's been really good to get back out lately. I just did Pensacon, and we did Nashville, and I did Alabama, and it seemed, just we were like in limbo for a while, and then here we are, and people are very optimistic and happy to see each other and very congenial, and I think it shook everybody up a little bit to really, appreciate what we have in life every day.
Absolutely. And I noticed, so I was actually going to ask you that. That was a later question is I noticed you're back out there again. You're doing some things. I'll just ask it now. How are the fans doing? Are people jazzed to be back out talking Star Wars with you guys again?
Oh, more than ever. And they're conscious letting people into rooms systematically, so it's not overwhelming. And, we've been careful as well, but at the same time, people have gotten their vaccines, and you have to be extra careful, but everyone's, aware of what happened and just happy to be out there. I mean, that's great. So you're for the Golden Gate.
I am. We inducted you as an honorary member a couple years ago.
I know, which finally got me into the books, because originally I was inducted twice, but never got into the book for some reason.
Oh, really? I didn't know. It was previous to my time in the garrison. I've only for a couple of years now. So you're talking about meeting fans. I was wondering, as someone, I'm the person in the line a lot. As someone who's meeting folks, who's got the line in front of them, is it easier now with the precautions because it's a little more spaced out? You've got a little more time. Is a little easier to handle?
I'd say so. Well, they give us options of putting a plexi in front, but it's impossible to sign posters and autographs with that there. So I just wear the mask when I'm meeting people. And then if there's distance, they want to take a picture, we take the mask off for a sec, minute. I mean, I was traveling, when it was high alert, and was fine. I'm just careful. And we've been careful before this happened on the road, because you meet a lot of people, you shake a lot of hands, so you're always sanitizing.
Absolutely.
Not that I'm that anal, but yeah, I've been lucky to, we all have been lucky to, survive, because I have a friend, I've lost quite a few friends, to be honest with you.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Well, hey, so for the people that haven't been looking you up today and haven't been reading about your incredible life, I want you to tell us a little bit about how you came into Star Wars. I know you were in a band with Corey D. Williams, and from what I saw, he was sort of like, hey, you want to come out to the desert and see what's going on? Tell me about that.
Well, I was in a martial arts class, and I met the sensei had said, you should meet Corey D. Williams. I was working for a company selling office supplies for Van Patten, was it? No, not Van Patten. That's the other guy. Yeah, Van Patten. I remember. And he said, I have an acting class at night and a martial arts class. So I started doing, after work, we would do these acting classes, which I was interested in. I knew about acting. I love movies, not to pursue acting, but I was interested in, just experiencing it. And Billy D had come in once to see us do a scene, and he liked what I did. So that was kind of exciting. I was walking on cloud nine, and Van had said, you have to meet Corey D, plays bass. And he's, awesome, slapping. And I have a feeling about you guys. And we were invited to go up to Billy's, where he was living at the time in Los Angeles. And as soon as we sat down, we haven't stopped ever since.
Yeah.
And we set up in the garage to have our rehearsals and record. And Billy was very supportive of us and loved the music, said we're on the edge and alternative. We have a great hybrid. And Corey and I both have tons of experience, as from Weather Report to Led Zeppelin. He's from New York. I'm from New Jersey originally. And if you were lucky to be at that time, the diversity was unimaginable. Sure. We go see Miles, Led Zeppelin, Lou Reed, Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes all in a week. It was, I try to remember all that stuff. And it's just
Sure.
incredible because we don't have that experience
Yeah.
now live like we used to, where it was epic.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of on a high, really trying to get this development deal, looking good, having different people coming in and out. And Billy walks in and says, I think it was April, just before the summer, and he had asked Corey to stand in for him. And Corey was a little adamant because he's been on sets. It's a lot of work. It's not as glamorous as people think, especially going to the desert.
In the
We didn't know
summer.
much that we didn't know it was a solid pit or Jedi. We didn't know any of that. We knew Empire, of course.
Okay.
And he said, it's 120 degrees in Yuma. Are you kidding me? And so Billy said, listen, what if you guys just bring in instruments and continue to write on the set? And I was, of course, let's go. And then next thing I know, we're on the plane and I'm sitting next to Princess Leia and Carrie,
Oh man.
who I've known off and on anyway.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Did you
actually
know
knew-
through Billy in that?
I knew it through friends and actually Terry Richard, Eddie Fisher's last wife, was a good friend of mine. And
Okay. So you've been
Not
sort
that
of around. You've been sort of around these folks in your life already.
yeah, my passion has led me, and I'm very grateful. I mean, through Corey as well, I met Weather Report because Taruko, Billy's wife now, was previously married to Wayne Shorter from Weather Report. So we were thrown into that, not that I'm worthy of that kind of music. I love that kind of music.
Sure.
I'm not the kind of player, but I'm a songwriter and guitar player, but the jazz thing's a whole different time capsule.
Totally.
So
And
we
so
head out
Go to
to
the
Yuma,
desert. Sorry, go ahead.
at the Yuma, and Kerry was reading Dune, I think, and we talk about all the archetypes that make it up. And
Sure.
she's a very profound person to begin with,
Yeah.
and an artist, and that was incredible. So we land, and it's a Sunday, everyone's off, not at the set, but at the poolside. And the first person I meet is Peter Mayhew, standing in a hot tub, 4-foot hot tub, towering over me.
Sure.
I start to size everything up, and then Mark runs up in his little Speedos, and I said, "Oh my God, this is pretty amazing." And Corey as well. We both said, "This is Star Wars,"
Ah, and you were a Star Wars fan already, right?
Of course, I saw Star Wars in New York City on Broadway when it opened, and it was the first time because I love Kubrick. And 2001 was my, one of my favorites. But Star Wars made it user friendly, in a sense. You could relate to the people, and you had emotion for the people. It wasn't so sterile and cerebral like space stuff can be.
Absolutely.
Very profound in that way. So well, the next day we go to the set, and I said, "What is going on here? This is incredible." And it was like 12-hour days. Of course, they were shooting wide angle in Yuma, and the wind would blow off. And lately too, I've been meeting a lot of subculture, like Dickie Beer and all these guys we've been going out with, and we have incredible stories, because everyone's working then. But as time prevails and people go out, all those people that want to tell their story have an incredible, indelible experience. It's incredible to be out with them lately. It's like a new dawn for this whole subculture of us, because a lot of the lead actors are gone, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Like probably 60-70%, right?
Yeah, we're losing. Yeah, we're losing a lot of them. So, how we got a lot of questions from our Crate Clan detachment. They do the Jawas, they do the Gamos, they do all the denizens of the desert kind of thing. So, and one of the things they want to know, and I want to know, is how do you go from I'm hanging out with Corey, I'm here to keep playing, I sort of know some of you, to I'll dress up as the pig? Does George say that?
Well,
does George say that? Who does that?
That was kismet, because what had happened, we were playing every night and people were dancing and loving the music, cast and crew in the hotel rooms or what have you. And that was amazing because it gave us a rapport right away, because I was young and nervous. I didn't know how to act in that kind of situation. I just kind of, kept quiet and just watch, observe. It's a massive monolithic thing that's happening. It's quite an organism. And Howard Gazanjian, the producer, had invited Billy to go to dinner, and we were welcome to come along, Corey and I. And I mustered up the nerve to say to Howard, "Listen, I work for free. I'm out there 12, 14 hours.
Sure.
I'll wrangle scorpions," which is another job every day, whatever.
Sure.
And he said, "Okay, show up tomorrow." And by that time, Corey, of course, had been doing different stuff for his dad, standing in, what have you. So he'd been working, but he wasn't a character yet. He was just dressing like his Landau.
Sure.
Landau. So the next day, they had him as Klaatu. I don't even think Klaatu had a name then. And me as the guard, which was a massive, outfit to wear the bottom, the hands, the feet. And I was told to follow the footsteps on the barge to fight Luke. And then I thought I went in the pit, but I guess I didn't. I guess I was chopped in half. I was sliced in half. I found out later. And they're putting blow dries in my mouth, and my peripheral was off, and I just kind of went with it, but didn't think much of it because it was such a quick scene as well.
Sure.
Especially in the days of VHS, I couldn't even catch it. You couldn't stop it. And so Billy D had taken a picture of Corey and I with the mask off, which he put into the archive. And so did Ralph Nelson Jr., the still guy. He made a slide for us at Revenge, which I kind of cherish now. And plus the Blue Harvest thing, we got there. We said, what is Blue Harvest? So that was a little throwing us off as well. We got these T-shirts. This is horror beyond imagination. We said, they're trying to hide this? There's no way.
Ask you about that, because you always hear about all that secrecy, especially out in the desert. That's always the stories, that it was super clandestine, right?
Well, the quads would come out,
Sure,
all the
sure.
quads pull up. They kind of knew. It's such a small town that I don't know how many people, the population was then, but if you seen a Harrison Ford and Billy D walking around,
Sure.
you kind of know something's up. And it has to do with Star Wars.
So you said there's blow dryers. Is that, I'm assuming not hot air, but that's air to get into your
Cool.
suit.
Yeah, just to breathe. Archaic times, I guess. They didn't have, well, still to this day, I don't see many 501st dressing as Gamorrean guards. If they do, it's quite a commitment, and there's not much time they could spend in that outfit. And I don't know, I was figuring they made something more stealth, something that would work better, but not with latex, I guess, to get that.
It's
That latex, the what do you call it? The density.
Sure. It's tough. Like we actually, so here in California, there's a growing number of them. We got at least 2 of them in our garrison. One of them who's watching. If you want to say hi to Virginia, she's a Gamo. Say hi to Virginia.
Hey, Virginia.
And she's a Gamo. There's a couple others in the Central, but it's a hot one. And those of us who wear helmets, we got fans in there, and it's not cooled air, but it's moving air, and so it's good.
Right, right.
But for the folks that are aliens, we have a Bosk in our garrison, and when he takes off those gloves, like it is ripe inside. It's
Oh yeah, that's right. And I have a mask that was made that took quite some time, but Chris in Dublin, Chris Stevens, is it?
Yes, yeah.
He does amazing work, because a lot of the American stuff I saw was too green, almost like Kenner green.
Okay.
And if you look at my original mask and pictures, it's kind of distressed on the verge of brown.
Yeah.
And I like that. So he was pretty close. But he said, should I cut the mouth out? I said, no, but the eyes you can cut out, because those are really my eyes. That's the only makeup they put on, was a black circles around my eyes. That's the only makeup.
Like
people say, how many hours in a makeup chair? I said, they just put circles around me like mascara, and that was it. And the mask is great, but I can't really breathe that long when it's on. It's I don't know how to get around that.
How long did it take to get? So obviously not long in a makeup chair, but how long to get pigged up?
Well, probably a good hour. Putting hands, everything was there, and the stuntmen have been trying it out as well. And the thing is, once they took the top off for me to get a rest or breathe, I was like Humpty Dumpty. The bottom half had to be held up. I couldn't sit. I just had to stand there and be held up, but it would take me down,
Man, how long were you in that suit filming? Like you said, it was a short scene, but imagine
like 2 or 3 days. I remember.
Wow, for how long a day? Like, are we talking 12-hour days? We talking what was the day like?
Half a day, probably. And then you always had the elements against you. I mean, because a solid pit covered with sand, it would blow off a lot, and that's the forefront of the wide angle shots.
Gosh.
But speaking of guards, now I think there's going to be a lot of thinner guards with the Mandalorian, which is
absolutely. I was going to ask you about that. Did you go crazy when you saw that guy on screen?
I couldn't believe, because of course, Pops are very popular now. I saw a lot of Funko.
Absolutely.
And the first 3 toys to come out with Mandalorian was the Fighter,
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, or the other name. What is the other name?
Yeah.
It's an odd name. And the Boba Fett. I said, you got to be kidding me. If they pick 3, I'm one of them. I mean, and supposedly, I read the encyclopedia. We had to fight to the death for Jabba, and there was a remaining 9. The 9's my lucky number, by the way. But it seems like the fighters were after that period. See, I get confused a little bit. Maybe you guys can fill me in.
Yeah, it's post Return of the Jedi. So the thought is there's thought is is that a guard that is not doing as well? He's not eating as much. Is he just in different shape, like whatever it is? But
see, I saw it as if you work for Jabba, all of a sudden you become a glutton like him.
Sure.
But the thing is, I had to be one of the surviving ones to make it to the barge to get killed by Luke.
There you go. So you're a good one. You're good.
So the original were fighters too. So where's that storyline? That's some kind of, are they going to tie into that? It's interesting because I assume that the thin ones are making their way to work for Jabba on the barge.
Yeah, maybe
eventually, but that's not the case.
Actually, so I'm gonna jump into a different question on that. Would you? So you talk about that story. If they said, "Hey, you want to come back and suit up again and do this story," would you do it?
I'm working on it.
Yeah,
I was just with the girls, the 2 Jawas, Mama Lelena, and those girls.
Sure.
Did 2 shows, and we love each other. And they can't tell me too much, but I know I'm definitely in there as a character. And who knows? Favreau, Filoni.
If they're watching,
Paisano, come on, Filoni, come on.
Heard it here first. He's ready to do it. He's ready to do it.
By the way, I love what they're doing with the volume sets. It's a game changer. Because Werner Herzog, I'm a big fan. He's going, oh my God, what's going on here? Absolutely. And those volume sets, you can shoot Lawrence of Arabia like that. I mean, it's genius. And the whole transition to that, from ILM all the way up. Because I lived in Marin County when I moved from New York. I don't know if you know that.
Really?
Because I'm a musician. I lived in San Anselmo. My friend was Lucas's carpenter. So all the musicians there in '78, you can imagine the Grateful Dead, Van Morrison, Airplane, all lived in that area. So I got quite an education there. And Marin, I love Marin. I mean, I love the Bay Area. So it's also an honor. For some reason, I didn't get in the books. What I did get in the books is because of the Golden Gate, which I thought made a lot of sense. If I had a choice, that would be it.
All right, well, that's good to hear. We love getting to sort of give back to you guys and get to see you guys. And whenever we're at something where we've got patches and there's an actor or a VFX person or somebody, it's like we'll give them every bit of swag we have because they gave so much to us. Like you gave your literal sweat. I imagine a lot of your sweat to us. The least we can do is give some love back. So I want to ask a couple of things. I got a whole bunch of questions from our Crate Clan people. And so they had a whole bunch of awesome questions because they wear this costume, right? They suit up. First thing is how heavy was it? Like, give me a sense of that.
It's latex, dense latex, I mean, you maybe thought you could do styrofoam later. I mean, there was a 501st guy from South America who said, I got this licked. I got a fan in this, but it was ceramic. It was so heavy it could break your neck. Yeah, it was ceramic. But yeah, it was dense. I mean, I have pictures with just the bottom half laying there. Sure. And it's dense foam. That latex is dense, man. It doesn't breathe.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Other than breathing, what was the hardest thing to do in the costume that you had to do?
Well, trying to sit down or just stand with the top half off. As far as once I had it on and saw the footsteps, because I don't know where the cameras are coming from. I just went with it. It looked good. I was just charged, and that was okay. It was just when you're standing around not doing anything in it.
Sure.
That was the problem. You took the head off, and then it's very cumbersome,
Yeah.
The hands came off, the feet came off. But you don't want to, if you had to do another scene, who's going to take the bottom and you didn't want it to go through it,
I definitely get that. Like there's definitely times when, when we're at events and things, we're in our armor and it's like, if it's an option of I'm going to just stay here in the costume for 10 more minutes or go in and rest, I'd rather stay here for those 10 minutes than go because
that stuff
comes off, it didn't come back on. So one of the other things that came up was if you got to keep anything other than memories from the set. Did you get any mementos?
Who knew? I've been working on my Blue Harvest shirt, getting it signed over time.
Sure.
And my friend Steve, who's a authenticator, Steve Grad, he said, "Why don't you get it signed on the set?" I said, "No one thought. First of all, you're walking on eggs anyway. You don't really want to, you know how hush up it is anyway. So the last thing you want to do is, I did have my Polaroid. I snapped a few with Mark and didn't get Princess Leia though,
Sure.
which but we weren't thinking like that. I'm not thinking about getting an autograph. I'm thinking how to get through this and leave with some dignity. Don't get in trouble.
Sure. So it's interesting. Like you're in a very interesting spot in Star Wars history. So you're late enough that you know Star Wars, right? That you're late enough that you love Star Wars, that you dig this, and you Billy after Empire Strikes Back, but you're early enough that Star Wars hadn't taken over Lego and Disneyland and Target and the Super Bowl. There weren't commercials everywhere. So kind of going to what you're just saying, what did you think? You knew it was big, but what was the scope at that point? Was it going to be the biggest thing ever? What did you think?
No, not Corey and I just went continue music, and it was like we didn't think. If I got a lead part, I've been pursuing acting and got into Star Wars, I would know what that meant for my career. Sure. But I wasn't looking to that side of the career. I didn't look to act anymore. I just knew I was part of this experience that's incredible. And until that picture came out 10 years ago, this stuff was put away for years. My friend said, you in Star Wars and music? He said, are you kidding me? There's a lot of nerds in that sense. Sure. You never told me like I offended them, but not telling them,
Sure.
And I said, well, I didn't really talk about it. My scene goes by, you could witness it, I'm part of it, but I don't know if it's going to pursue and what the pursuit would be, which is daunting right now and unbelievable, that it's gone this far. But those pictures were put away until 10 years ago. And when they came out, some people had seen them in England and said, mate, do you sign? I said, sign what? They said, autograph. I said, do you want my autograph? They said, do you understand you got killed by Luke Skywalker in one of the most pivotal scenes in history? I said, yeah, but I was just another character, right? No, the guard. I don't know why the guard. I was just lucky that way. And they said, can we send you some stuff to be signed? They sent like 60 items in a check. And I said, this could support my music pretty good. Yeah. And then the pictures were was shown on Facebook. They're talking about my signature because I have my mom's signature, pretty nice signature, I guess. They would say, here's a lovely signature. They all went off on how I wrote.
That's good.
It's legible. It's good. And then Corey got in touch and said, hey, I'm thinking of going out. I think he did a show, maybe one show with Dad, and my appearance agent would like to talk to you. And we started going out and telling our story. Just for the past 10 years, it's been a whirlwind. And just bigger and bigger than Mandalorian. Sure. And I thought, I'll do a few years of this and take it for what it is.
And there's no end. This whole new renaissance. So you mentioned Facebook photos. There's a photo that goes around on Facebook of a Gamorrean guard, with his finger in the nostril. Is that you?
That's Dickie.
That's not you. Okay.
I've been doing shows with Dickie now. He's kind of making it clear because he was a coordinator, and I was not sure. My thing was so quick. Sure. And the other thing, Carrie was always playing around with my mask and stuff, standing up. But the one biting the tooth, the agents put that out as just this thing to sign, and I assumed, that could be one day. But it's really Dickie after he almost died. He told me because he got left in that suit. He passed out, and they all went to lunch, and they forgot about him in the suit. Do you ever hear that story? It's amazing. No. And he wakes up to Princess Leia hovering over, saving his life. So right after that, he was sitting there hydrating. Sure. And she bit that little bite. We started talking to him. It looked like a bite. So I should make this clear so I could sign, because we know when on the barge I have my mask off, which is the one I use the most with the sales. That's me, of course, and there's other promo pictures and toys and posters. But yeah, for a long time I was signing those, for a few years, and I said, Dickie, I'll take this one out, because if this is really you and that happened, I don't want to sign this. Sure. I was signing with you, but that's a personal thing. you know.
That's
So
good.
yeah, and the one picking the nose, I kind of thought that was me and Klaatu behind me, and he claims it was him, and he was a coordinator, so you know he knows more than me.
There you go. So you talked about like this sort of can support your music. You've had some odd Star Wars music encounters. So I was reading that there's this band called Blues Harvest that is Star Wars fans, and they said they had like all these different people have been on stage with them, and you were the person that was like the standout guest. They were like, it was this dude who is the Gamorrean guard. Like, how is it? Tell me about that. Where like you get to blend your love of music and being on stage.
Well, Andy right now, I just got his drums. We're doing the album together right now. I'm in front of my board right now in my studio. I don't know if you see any of it, but we just did one track I just did like a few months ago. Beautiful. And because what happened is they had said, oh, we miss playing with you, because we did the show in Burnley. It was like a VIP meet and greet. Yeah. And then I want to play with him every night, the Ferret in Preston,
yeah,
you know, over there. And we just gelled. And Nick's amazing artist. Nick, because I always wanted a progressive rock band like Genesis or Gentle Giant. In my heart, yes. I've seen these bands. I've seen Zeppelin. And if there's any guys, especially the British Invasion, how much that meant to me in blues, like Jeff Beck, the first Zeppelin, looking at You Shook Me, and it's Willie Dixon, and it made me get my history right. Oh, Willie Dixon, Muddy Waters. Okay, they're showing us in our own backyard where we should be as far as the genesis of the music and why they're getting, you know, they respected it, and it was hard for them to get that music, so they really embraced that, you know, in England. So I have I'm being from New York.
Yeah.
New York was England, and Hoboken, whatever. And so I have an affinity with the Brits. I don't know what it is. Sure. And we just connect. And so we just did a video they sent the Allman Brothers. Did you see that? No. One, we do Whipping Post, because they had done one with Mike Quinn previous, who's a friend of mine, called Comfortably Nem. And Mike sings. And they can play anything. They're incredible musicians. Yeah. But when he sent me the drums to do Whipping Post, I kind of brought them up my studio, mixed them in, and then my girl Jason shot me doing it, and they kind of put it together, really sweet, and me playing leads and cutting it and out with the whole band as if we were together. Sure. But as I was mixing my guitar, I said, these drums sound really good. I mean, it's the gain staging and everything that I look for, because I can't do drums in my house. You need a lot of mics. It's a big breakdown. You need a whole room devoted to that, that's soundproof. So I like real drums. I write some drums. I mean, I work with hip hop guys, some of the best, but they do that thing. I don't do that. I like a real drummer playing with me, and you know, getting the nuances, because then it comes to life and just grows from there. So having the drums like that, I said, let's start working on material. So we've been recording together. So it's going to lead to us because Nick and Andy do great stuff, Blues Harvest solo stuff as well. And we're going to fuse that and start doing live shows at the events, because they're, you know, it's obvious that we can promote our stuff. Sure. We work well together. He can sing with me. I can embezzle his guitar and vice versa. Nick's, you know, because we played when we track, we do 3 or 4 guitar tracks. It's impossible to play that live. So if you're singing it, you got to hold down the root, you know. But yeah, I'm recording with those guys as we speak.
That's really cool. Yeah. Well, like, look back, like, this is quite an adventure, right? This has been quite a couple decades of you've been there, like you've known these folks, you were on the skiff, you're recording music with them now. Like, you probably can't do this, but like, what's the craziest, best, most amazing memory of this whole ride? What's the thing
on the set
of any of it? Like, what's the moment?
Well, it just continues. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger, and I'm more grateful than ever, and I think everyone else is. And I love it. I love meeting people. I love what it means. I love that it brings generations together. I love the 501st gets dressed up, and because people say, you wear the outfit? Hell no. Where am I going to get the outfit? Did you take the outfit home with you? Sure. I just walked up the set with the outfit. Yeah.
George didn't ask. He just looked the other way.
It's absurd, you know.
Wasn't bothered at all.
It's something I could never plan on, but I just love it. I can't get enough, especially after COVID for a year and a half.
Sure.
And all that. I mean, it had to shake up a little because the scene was getting a little diluted.
Sure.
There's a lot of agents, a lot of riffraff, and the actors went to the side, got put on the side because the agents became too big for their own bridges. Yeah. And not everybody, there's great agents, but it just got way out of hand, as far as, and way overcrowded. Sure. And too many shows in between. Everybody's doing a show. So I think this kind of weeded it out, which we needed a fresh approach.
Yeah, I get that because we here in the Bay Area, there's a lot of little cons here and there and events, and it was huge. I mean, my wife and I go to Comic-Con every year, and that's sort of our big thing. But like, it seems like once we return, right, because we got some cons in August here in the Bay Area, like it seems like every place is trying to look at sort of what makes its convention special. What is it going to offer to its community? What's it going to offer to, the people that are coming? And I think, I mean, one, it's going to be great to get back out there. And like for us as in the Garrison, right, or in the Legion, like it's so nice to start having events again and getting to put on our helmets again and wear, masks underneath the helmets, but helmets on and getting out there and being with the fans. And I'm looking forward to seeing folks like you. Like, we got Celebration coming. Are you going to meet us you going to meet up?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm working with 2-3 agents now, and hopefully the right moves. I'm not sure how it works. I think Topps is no longer with them, so who knows? Back then, Ben was having official picks. Hopefully, I don't know what he's planning, but when it's kind of in a flux right now. I'm not sure how it's going to work, sure. But I would imagine I am. I would hope so.
It'd be nice. We in the Golden Gate will meet up with you. Other Legion people meet up with you. We got some patches for you. We got some Gamo patches for you. Got people ready.
Well, I got a patch wall behind me. I have so many patches and beautiful coins that I was going to put patches on the jacket, but it was too much.
Sure.
Just the 501st in the back, the big one, takes up half the back. So I did a wall back there in my studio of all the patches, really just around the world, and I love that stuff. And the coins are magnificent. We got some people in our Garrison that love doing coin runs and getting coin runs going for us, and it's such a fun thing to trade, and like you meet up with people come into town. The nice thing in the Bay Area is people come here for San Francisco, they come here for Silicon Valley, and so we get to meet up with them, have lunch, trade coins, eat a burger. Like it's a good community. Yeah, I love the coin. I have my own coin now, the guard coin.
Very cool. Well, I'll have to track you down and we'll have to trade. I'll get one.
Yeah, I've done Merced, but I never really did a Silicon Valley. I would love to do some Bay Area stuff when it opens up.
Yeah, we got Silicon coming up in August, and we've had Tamira Morrison was there, Greedo was there, BB-8 was there. I actually think Corey came through one year. We've had it for a couple years. I think Corey came through one year.
Could have been. I think Silicon is next, maybe.
Come join us, man. We'll take care of you. We'll
I know. Thank you so much. I mean, that's amazing. You guys are amazing. So I mean, you make it fun for everybody. When you go to Celebration, there's 2,000 stormtroopers. But I think now people want to be Boba Fett's now.
They're very cool. The Mandalorians are very cool right now. And as you talk about being a Gamorrean, like, I think nothing against stormtroopers. Love stormtroopers. I'm a clone trooper, so we're real close to them. But I feel like as costuming gets more advanced, as 3D printing gets more advanced, as all of these techniques get easier to do and cheaper for people, we're seeing more Gamorrean guards. We're seeing more aliens. We're seeing Bosk, the reptilian bounty. Like, we're seeing those other things. And I think it's a really cool time to be a costumer and to be a Star Wars fan. Like,
what's amazing also is that to see generations across the scope. 4 generations of cosplayers. That's a lot different than when I was a kid. Sure. It's either Frank Sinatra or Led Zeppelin at one point, as far as generations. And my great grandparents, like, the music's too loud. So we didn't connect in that way, but it's pretty amazing that that's I love to see these grandmother, the sons and daughters, their kids and their kids.
Oh yeah.
Cosplaying. That's a beautiful thing.
It's a lot of fun. And we have like our Garrison has a lot of like our children have costumes. My daughter's a Jawa. She's a crate herself. And it's a lot of fun. But I think, like you said, we there's something cool about having a whole legion of stormtroopers. And for me, like I know that who they are. I know that they're regular people. I know that, that they have day jobs.
Yeah,
But I'm sorry, when Darth Vader walks out, or Chewbacca walks out, or remote control R2D2 rolls out, I'm 4 years old again. Like
of course, of
it changed
course.
everything. It's amazing.
I mean, I'm taking, you see me in Pensacon, the Jawas came out dressed, and you got to get in there. It's like you're such a part of it, and it is a joy. And the costumes are so elaborate, like you said. The Jawas have the language, and they speak the gibberish, and then you guys have great props being in Mandalorian. That surprise that happened.
Yes,
That's pretty amazing.
Bunch of us California folks. I wasn't there. I'm just a clone trooper, but a couple from our garrison, a bunch from Southern California. What a crazy moment of the fantasy becoming reality. Like what
oh God, oh my God. It's just as important as the show itself, because that subculture and Disney and of course Lucas embraced it after a while. They had to.
Yeah.
Parodies and films, of course.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, like good.
But you're born in the Bay Area yourself?
So I wasn't born here. I was born in Illinois, but I grew up here. I'm a San Jose kid. I moved back here after college. My family's here, and so yeah, we this is our area. This is our zone.
I do a lot of shows up north, from Bakersfield and
Sure.
Fresno and Sacramento, because I can drive there.
Absolutely.
So that was in between. I was doing a lot of those shows, the comic book stores and stuff. And my boy Dominic, a good friend of mine, Dominic Pace, he's out there. He's killing 10,000 miles,
and helping local comic shops. He's been it's been so awesome seeing him going to these places and helping them get business and helping them get attention. And because I love my local comic shop. I swear by my local comic shop. And it's really cool seeing Dominic's been amazing, giving back to that community and giving back to places.
And I've been doing a lot of comic book shop, but now it seems like we're gonna go out do big shows. And if there's like when I had gone to Pensacon, I got stuck in Dallas because of flight. My flight was canceled. And I was with Nick Maley, incredible design Yoda. And it's funny because I connected really big time with Stuart Freeborn, and they came together. And Yoda was with me all the time in the back in the case. He lives in the Caribbean. He lives in the Caribbean now.
Yes, he's in a museum.
Yeah, we're thinking about maybe we'll sign up there sometime. We talked about that. But I was stuck with Nick for a few days in Dallas, and we did a comic book store. So that kind of seems to be the thing to do now, because people who can't make the cons or maybe can't even afford to come to a local little place, and they really love that. We love doing that. So
it's funny. It sounds like you think about like rock bands in the 70s, like they would do the big show in New York, and the night before they'd go to the little punk club, right, and do a set for the fans.
And all like local radio shows.
Yeah,
50,000 watt stations. In the middle of nowhere, you'd go show up. And that was your bloodline. That's how you sold records, big time. I know. So this is almost the same beating the pavement, like grassroots, kind of.
You guys are our rock stars. You guys are our heroes on stage.
Well, we're gonna really rock it soon, man. I can't wait to get out with the band because Blues Hops are dreaming about us. We're gonna do some shows together, like we have, but original. Now we're recording together. We're becoming like infused in a way that, And I don't want to be the main star.
Sure.
I want to sing and do my stuff, but it's nice that Nick can take on some of that, and those guys have their material, and we can make it really interesting for people, exciting as well. Because I don't know if you saw them they did a Ray Parker thing, Ray Parker Jr.
So I didn't see it, but I saw
on
their website about getting to sing.
Yeah. So we, I played a lot of shows where bands have met me and rehearsed it, but it's nothing like rehearsing a group that does that to begin with and become part of that. And I signed, so we could do some major events. I could see us really killing it. They do it now, but do it original and have merch to go with it. All that would be a great thing.
Well, make sure you guys come through Northern California so we can go see you and cheer you on and sing with you.
Anytime. I love to do San Francisco as well.
Yeah.
I've been telling agents now I haven't done enough New York or Jersey for some reason, or enough Bay Area. And I did a lot between, but not enough Bay Area.
Absolutely. Well, hey, those are my questions. That's my last thing for you is if you could go back to however old you were when you put on that Gamo suit, go back to him. would you tell him to do anything differently? Would you give him any advice? What would you do?
Tell the guard or tell who?
Tell young you. What would you tell him?
I probably would get my shirt signed by everybody on the set.
Get the autographs now, son.
I mean the Blue Harvest, you know, especially at that time. Luckily, at 2015, Carrie, Peter, and Kenny were there.
Sure.
And they thought Kenny hardly could sign, but
Yeah.
I got a sign there, and that, you know, unfortunately, a few years later, they're all gone. So that was my last. You know, I was lucky that time because we did that show. I happened to be there, and it was really easy to say here and there. Oh, my pleasure, you know.
Absolutely.
Because I have that on the wall with lights and the whole thing. That's it. That's probably my most precious piece, besides the slide. That says revenge on it. That's pretty cool too.
That's pretty cool too.
Going out with the mascot.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, hey, I can't thank you enough for sitting down and talking with us today. For everyone watching, please remember, don't forget to donate to First Robotics. Click that link for it and help us support that amazing organization. For everyone at the 501st Legion and the Golden Gate Garrison, Stephen, thank you so much for spending time with us. Don't sign out just yet. We'll keep around for a second. But thank you so much for being here and for your time. And hopefully we see you at some cons, right? We'll see you out there.
Absolutely, man. Look forward to meeting you as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Hang around for just a second, and we're good.